where we're going to go from a Google form to Google Slides. So Lauren, you said that you have tried this before?
I have 2 days ago. And it worked.
No, it just worked? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I have is I've coded. It's actually a part of the premium membership. So you should get an email every week that has 2 hamsters in it. And I would recommend that you go to these 3 dots and you do filter messages like these. And they come from newsletter@alicekeeler.com. And you click create filter. And then you would apply the label. You just do new label, or I already made it. So an Alice Keeler one. So what happens is then over here on the left, I have an Alice Keeler label or folder, and you can see all of my weekly emails come in there, because you want to find the weekly email where I have click here for this week's content and additional premium content. So when you click here, you'll see that hopefully I didn't mess it up and it says the right week. And if you want to see the old archives of the webinars, I've got like a ton of them there. So let's take just a quick look. So you see I've got, this is the one I did the other day, and I have a lot of them. So if you want, I'm going to, now that I have a bunch, I'm going to work on organizing them. But at first I just had started putting them in there. So I have those. And then a drip workshop, if you haven't taken one yet, is they come via email. So if you click on that, these start as soon as you click the button. And then I've got the all premium add-ons, and that's what we're going to look at today. Now, of course, if you scroll down, it tells you the webinars for this week and the office hours for this week, and the premium content that I'm featuring this week, which might be the same as last week because I can't code something new every week, but I have something there. And then these are the workshops that you can join down below that. So just a quick little tour of the website. Oh, and below that is the webinars from this last week. Okay, so that being said, you're going to go and find your email for the week, and you're going to go do that week's content. That link expires every week. So make sure you have the current email, and you go to all premium add-ons. And then on here, I have this one that says Google Form to Slides add-on. And I already showed you how to do this. I did a webinar on it before, although I don't think I can do them often enough. I always want to recycle. But I've recently added new features to have it automatically send the form. So what you have to do is you have to click on this link.
Copy.
Make a copy. Hold on. I will. This is the link for your turn. We're going to first do it together, and then I'm going to help you set it up. So it should make you a Google form. And obviously, there's a whole bunch of things here that are ridiculous. So you might be doing just your live session Q&A. I'm just going to call this delete. And then I've got all these directions in here, which you want to get rid of. And you can either put a specific question here, or you can just say, look at the slides, right? So if we're doing a live session, I might have the questions built into the slides. But I'm going to use the same form over and over again. So what I want to do is I want to go to add-ons, and it should say Form to Slides Premium. And as usual, if you've got something I've coded, it can take like a minute for it to load. So you just got to be a little patient for it to show up. Under the puzzle piece, Form to Slides Premium, I'm going to authorize the add-on. And I don't know, it's been really weird lately is that it authorizes and doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So I've started adding to the menu authorize add-on specifically because it seems like nothing happens. Like if I just go to set slides and I authorize it, it doesn't set the slides. And I have to run it again. So now that I've authorized it, what I want to do is I want to say which slides does this Google form go to? So I'm going to set my slides and I just get the link. I just copy the link and I paste. Oops, I always do that. The first one is asking me, am I a premium member? Yes. Then I put the link. It'd be really great if I learned how to read. And I'll open the slides just to confirm those are the ones that you want to use. So I'm basically all set here, except if I want it to automatically go. So let's look at all of these options once I set the slides. You can manually send the slides. So you ask a question and then it collects all of the questions and then you send it in a big batch. But if you come all the way down here to set automatic, so I've now done set automatic. So I'm going to get the link to this Google form. If you'll just fill out this form and tell me your name. So you want to and it should go right into these slides. You see there? They just showed up, right, Donna? I didn't do anything. I was editing my own slides, so I should set slides, and I want to set automatic. Those are my steps. So I've made a bunch of menu options in there. So it looks really intimidating, but really you just want to set the slides and then come down to set automatic. And then you can ignore all the other ones. The choose layout number is only if you change the layouts. It automatically goes to this layout, which is section header. If you have deleted the section header layout, it gets very grumpy because it's looking for that. So then you want to tell it which layout to go to. It's kind of like roulette. Good luck. You just pick a number and test it. I can't quite figure out the pattern. I'll show you what I mean in a second. But let's just go ahead and do it again. Will you fill out the same form and tell me what you're having for dinner? Just fill out the same form and tell me what you're having for dinner. No, in the form. I'll give you the form link again. There you go, in the form. And I should be doing nothing. So I can see that Donna's having some barbecue chicken. But he's like, I didn't have to do anything. With not being automatic, I have to come over to the form, and when I'm ready, I ask a question, and when I'm ready, I send to slides. And I push it manually. If I set it automatic, I don't have to do anything. I just, oh, look, there's pizza there. So the big difference is I have no control where your responses go. They go to the bottom. So if you have a pre-made slides, how many responses are in here? So like I have 4 responses. I'm going to do form to slides premium. I'm going to send to slides. Oh, no. Okay, no, it's working. Okay, it says what slide am I on? Now I'm going to say, I'm going to say slide 1. I'm going to say slide 1. And And you'll notice it inserted them up here after slide 1. So with it not being automatic, I can control where it inserts them. So if I have pre-made slides, so I've asked several questions, then I have a specific spot that I want to get them to go to, then I send slides. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all. So if I'm going to do a webinar, like here, meet with my students, the first thing I want to do is I want to do a slides.new, and I'm just like, live session with my kiddos. And then I would put it into Google Classroom with edit access. Because I like to, I'm going to do it manually, but you could do that too. But I usually put it into Google Classroom. Anyone with the link can edit. I like to have some slides because on the fly, I can just make a slide really quick. So if I'm saying something, I can visualize it like a whiteboard. Like I write it on the board, I write it on the slides, and I just have this slides ready to go. Now, if I give them edit access, you would be able to add your own slide, but you know the rub with that. So if I just copy the link, and then in the Form to Slides Premium, I reset, what does that do? I want to set my slides from this form. Okay, and so do you notice that it now switched my slides? So if you will, I just give them the link, the live link to the slides or to the form. And this allows me to ask, like, are you here today? I'm taking attendance. Fill out my Google form and tell me you're here. And when you're doing a live session with students, you want to frequently have some sort of a tool where you say, please make a comment in the chat or do something so they can participate without having to turn on their webcam. So having them fill out a Google form is a great way because if you automatically collect email addresses, which this one does not, but I could, if I automatically collect email addresses, then I can at the end see who participated. So it just gives me a nice way to see my student interaction and my attendance. Okay, you ready to try it? So your first,
Alice, if you have more than one question during the lesson, and I saw that you click on just delete all the responses, then how do I see it? Because I want to see what they've said about. Like, I want to review it after the lesson.
okay, so the one, yes, I do have the one that when I push it, it's very important it deletes them. But to be honest with you, Lauren, it's only deleting the responses in the form. So
okay.
if you create a spreadsheet, the spreadsheet responses will not be deleted. So even if it clears it out of the form, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
Because so you just want to make sure, let me screen share this. You just want to make sure that on your form that you click the spreadsheet icon and you create a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I do that. But then if I have another question, I go to responses and I make it like 0 again, right?
Well,
how do I see it on the spreadsheet then?
So here's the thing is I get my answers, I get my information from the spreadsheet anyway.
Okay.
So what happens is a copy of the responses goes to the spreadsheet. So when I form to slides and I send it to slides, you see it automatically deleted it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter because it's still in the spreadsheet. So I don't review it in the form, I review it in the spreadsheet. So if you ask 10 questions, all 10 responses each time will be there.
So it doesn't delete the responses you've got previously?
No,
Like previous
them from the spreadsheet. So make sure you make a spreadsheet.
Because I want to know exactly who said what. Because we have kids that do not want to, turn on the camera. They don't want to show themselves. This will help me out. Thank you.
Yeah, so just make sure you do two things. Make sure it shows the email addresses, and that automatically collects email addresses, number one. And number two, that you go to the responses tab and make a spreadsheet. And then you should be good.
I followed your directions, and I took your advice on going to preferences and have the email collected all the time.
Yes. Yes, but do you notice that I just copied when I did the template? The template did not have the email address.
Mm.
Since you copied it, since I copied it, mine did not have the email address because it was a copy that didn't have email address.
You see.
So in that particular instance, you're going to have to do it manually if you want them. The reason why I have email address turned off by default on that one is because the idea is just to have people quickly respond, and I don't need their email if I'm just doing it as a participation rather than an assignment or activity. Does that make sense, Lauren?
Yeah.
So if you want a record, especially since I delete the responses out of the form, I'll just do it informally where I don't make the spreadsheet because I'm not trying to keep their answers. I'm just trying to have interactive participation at the time. So in that case, I don't need their email because it's going to delete anyway when I push it.
You have some kids that do not want to be active during the lesson, like you never hear from them. And that's a way for me to see that they were there, they responded.
Yes. I agree. So yeah. When I make something, I have to just make a decision. I can't do two things at the same time. So either I'm collecting email addresses or I'm not. So and then I've made somebody mad, whatever it is. Someone's going to let me know that it would have been more convenient for them the other way. And of course, I tell them, you're more than welcome to learn to code for yourself. So, so for this one example, I do have the email not defaulted. And even though you do, the template does not. So you will have to manually turn it on because for your circumstance, that makes sense. Or circumstance I normally use it for, which of course I code things for myself. I don't need the email. So I obviously code it to make it easier for me. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to go to my Alice Keeler folder that I made, and I'm going to find this week's email. And I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to, where it says click here, I'm going to click here. And I'm at current offerings, and I want to go to all premium add-ons. And then I want to scroll down, and it says Google Form to Slides add-on. It might not be second place forever, but it is right now. So here is the link. I pasted that in the chat. So if you click on that, you're going to be looking at the premium page that has my premium content that I don't give away for free, even though I give almost everything away for free. Yeah. Well, I need to, I feel so guilty about it, and I shouldn't feel guilty. This is my job. This is my job. I should get paid for my job. And that's exactly what I do. Is instead of working full time, I have several hours a day that I spend doing premium stuff, period. And so obviously then that is for my premium members, and it's not stuff that I do in my spare time. So I'm going to not feel guilty, but I feel guilty. So if you'll just click on copy add-on, please, and make a copy. Now that you've made a copy, why not make a folder in your Google Drive and put this in the folder as a template, and then you'll be able to find it all the time, just like in your Alice templates. or just go to
We
premium
do. We have a folder called Alice Keeler.
in your drive.
Yeah. You're a star.
I never get used to this. Back in the day, when I first started teaching, I was getting my teaching credential, and I'm in my class, and they wheeled in this giant LCD projector, and they said, if anybody wants to do PowerPoint, and I'm like, I don't know what PowerPoint is, but I'm going to learn it. So then I started doing PowerPoint with my students, and of course, nobody at my school, nobody was using PowerPoint. I'm so cutting edge. This is in 1999. So 21 years ago, can you believe that? And so the teachers, they're like, oh, well, Alice must be techie. So they would ask me questions. So when someone would ask me a question, I thought, well, other people must have this same question. So then I would email the whole school, which you're not allowed to do. And I would email the whole school. And then I'd be talking to some of my teacher friends, and they're like, hey, I got your email. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I send out a lot of emails. They're like, oh, no. I have an Alice folder. I'm like, you have an Alice folder? I'm like, okay. And this is literally how I started to be me, is like, I realized people weren't mad that I was sending out these emails. And so then I would talk to a different teacher. I'm like, so, like some of the other teachers, they have this Alice. We're like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to make an Alice folder. And so, 20 years later, it still feels weird and a big honor. So thank you. Okay. And so what you want to make sure that you are doing is modifying the form for yourself. You can even use this for asynchronous. So think about it. If you wanted to ask a question like, what defines a quadrilateral? And then I'm going to go to the puzzle piece and do the form to slides premium. I'm going to authorize the add-on. There's some buttons here that I don't think you can see. And I want to set my slides, form to slides premium, and I do set slides. And I need some slides. I'm going to call this quadrilateral question. Quadrilateral question. So even if I'm in an asynchronous situation, might I want students to submit something that other students could see? I think I would. So I'm a premium member. I need the link to my slides. I just paste the link to my slides, and that is it. That's all I have to do. I just now going to give the form link to the students. What defines a quadrilateral? 4 sides. Alice. Submit. And I look over here at my slides. Oh, no, I didn't set automatic. Oh, okay, I got to form the slides premium. I have to click set automatic. Now I'm going to do it again. Okay. I'm going to has 4 sides. Alice. Where's my mouse? My mouse died. Oh no. Do I have a battery? I need 2 AA batteries. Do you have any? My mouse just died. All right, so I just moved to Kansas and I don't have a stash of batteries. So you're going to take my word for it because I have no mouse and I have to find a mouse somewhere. Do you have an external mouse, Bacon? Do you have a mouse I can plug in? Oh, he might. This is hilarious. Lauren, it's not set as required because there's only one question. You could set it as required. Sure, go for it. The thing is it's only gonna push the first question. So if you ask other questions, it will not go to the slides. And
Hi.
I have
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. So, question. Were you able to get it to work?
So could I use this with my weekly check-in?
Oh, totally you could. So since you set it on automatic, you know, you just be able to look at the slides and see all the, which is a little nicer than having a spreadsheet, although Alice likes the spreadsheet. It is nice to have slides. It
Well,
is.
I do like the spreadsheet, and so like for questions about how are you doing, the spreadsheet is great. But then the kids like little stupid questions, and they all do the check-in if I add like, do you like pineapples on pizza? Or do you pour the cereal before the milk? Stupid things like that. I get 100% participation when I
Cool.
ask a dumb question. So I thought that if I could push it out, that they could see each other's answers.
Yes, I think that's great. And you could add, oh, I stole my son's mouse. Sweet. Okay. You could add extra questions. That won't hurt it at all. It just realize that the first question is what goes to the slides.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right. Now I'm going to click submit and I'm going to go look over here and it should show up. There it is. It's very satisfying. Yes. So, I mean, you could do whatever you want to the form. So, like Lauren asked, can I make it required? You're asking, can I add other questions? Yes to all of these.
Taking the whole thing.
Click the first question.
Alice, what's the difference between set center slide and automatic?
I'm sorry, what, Lauren?
What is the difference between, I'm going to look at that again, because I saw that you've got two options there. You've got an option to, it says set slides, no,
Yes.
center slides, and then you've got set automatic.
Okay, so send to slides is a manual push.
So each time like 4 or 5 responses, it sends 4 or 5 responses there. And automatic means that every time someone answers, it goes straight into the Google slide.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so I basically just have two modes.
And when you set it to automatic, it will always be automatic for that form, right? You don't have to keep doing that.
That is correct. It'll stay automatic until you click stop automatic.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. But with the automatic, it does not delete it out of the form. So it'll keep collecting all the form responses if you do it on automatic. But as soon as you choose send to slides, when you do it manually, it assumes that you don't want to push the same answers you already pushed previously, right? So that means, so it deletes all the responses just so if you push it a second time, if you send a second time, it sends only new ones.
Automatic would keep on pushing the same answers?
Well, no, because do you see here it says responses to?
Yeah.
So I'm going to just fill it out like 5 more times. And so when I submit this, Alice says not a triangle. Submit. Lauren loves cheese.
And chocolate more.
Oh, yes, chocolate. GM. I don't know. I just have fun sending this to the slides. But you see now it says responses for.
Yeah.
As I submit, it immediately sends the response over. And it doesn't remove it from the slides. I'm going to here on slide 2 just for fun. Slide 3, I am going to add a Bitmoji, things that are not surprising. I don't know why I like this cat one, but I do. Okay, so slide 3. So in this case, when I formed a slides premium and I send to slides, what slide am I on? Then it asks me where I want to put it. So the automatic just goes to the bottom. So here, I'm going to put it on slide 3 because I just want to show you that it does. And you see it puts them automatically on all of them after slide 3. And in the form, there's now no more responses. So if you push it manually, it clears them. If you do automatic, it does not clear them. So that might solve your problem, Lauren. If you like to look at them in the form itself. But I like to look at them in the spreadsheet anyway. So you can leave the question generic, or you can just go over and edit the question every time, which I sometimes do. Like I'm on the video call and I'm like, okay, now the question is, and I just, I backspace and I type fast. If I have to type it on the slide, I might as well type it in the form. I don't know. And when you refresh your form, it refreshes the question. So any other questions how you might use this? You should use this. It's really cool.
It is. So you only have to give them the link once, right? Even if you changing the question, it doesn't matter to the
Doesn't
student.
matter.
Okay.
Yeah, you could even delete the question and add another one. So say you did this. Watch this. This would be tricky. All right. This is definitely advanced, Lauren. Okay.
Good.
Let's say I want to have all my questions pre-made. So I'm going to create a section, and I'm going to call this extra questions. And then I'm going to make some questions. This is question 2. I use my son's mouse. Question 3. Question 4. Okay, right? Whatever they are. And then do you see here it says, after section 1, continue to the next section. I'm just going to say submit the form. All right, so Lauren, when I go to this form, let's look at what this looks like. Alice, and I submit. What happened to question 2, 3, and 4? Ha, look how tricky I am. Okay, so then, okay, let's look over here. I'll show you what's at the bottom. Should be. Yes, right? It worked. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to drag this one I've pre-made and I'm just going to trash that one. So now what happens? What happened? Where was it? It should have worked. That should have worked. Come here. What happened here? Why is it doing that? Is this pushing blank slides?
This is up to section 1. What is section 1?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Submit another response. Where's my question? Okay, I'm baffled what's happening here. I very clearly have a question. And copy the link. Okay. If you fill that out, what happens? There's no question. I don't have a question. Why don't I have a question? I have a question. I'm confused. Why is there no question? Okay. Seriously, I'm confused. Preview. Okay, that's weird.
That is bizarre.
That is weird. There's just question 2 does not exist. Do you see that? It's like a ghost question. I found some sort of a weird bug. Okay, assuming that there is not a weird bug. Assuming there's not some weird bug. I don't know if that was weird. You make a section and you put all your questions in the section. So they're all ready to go. They're typed out. If they have pictures, if they're multiple choice, they are ready to go. And I want to remind you that Google Forms does not have a version history. It does not. So if it's like, I'm going to use this again ever, you should call it template and make a copy of it before you mess it up. So then when you do it with the kids, you have one question in the first section, and then after the section, it submits, right? Bye, Sarah. That was weird, right, Sarah? Then and submits. So then I either drag the questions around or delete one of them. And then when they refresh, when they go to the same link again, they should see the new question. And this should, I'm going to test it. The mouse drag on this thing is ridiculous. I have to like drag all the way across my desk. Chocolate for Lauren. What is Donna like? It's like you had some barbecue in there or something. Ribs for Donna. One N or two? Two? Probably two. Let me come over here and look. No, it's people. No, it was right. I was right. It was one. It was one. Excellent. I did it right. This thing, right? So I have chocolate for Lauren, ribs for Don, even though it was question 3. As soon as I dragged it up to the first position, it pushed that one. So I think you could do some really fun, creative things with that.
Okay.
How's
and all
that?
the other teachers are going to be so envy of me.
I know. Don't tell them how you did it. Just, it's like magic. So this was my keynote for several years. I can't remember when I started doing it. And people would like ambush me after the keynote. How'd you do that? How'd you do that? And I said, I don't give that away. You're going to have to learn how to code. Because I don't want everybody doing that, because I want it to be like you see it and it's super cool. And then you want to pay me more money to come back because I do super cool things that you can't do. But it's been a lot of years. And so I've decided to make a version for everybody. So, well, everybody who pays me, right? So it is for the, hold on a second. Hey, come on in. 1 second. Okay, any more questions? All right. I have a guest who came, so we had perfect timing. So I will see you all later. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.